the movie. Oh, hi, Nick. How are you this evening?
Greg. Let's start the movie.
Movie? What are you talking about?
It's the same shit on every channel. Fuck. Anyway.
Nick, you should watch the channel. Just has Greg die on repeat, like on a loop.
All right, I'll put you on screen and then you do it. Nice knowing you.
You want me to die?
Not really. Because then BA 101 would probably die with you because then nobody else would join except for Carrie.
So the live stream literally just kicked on my browser with the first words being Greg die on a loop.
All right. So
then we're going to have a record number of viewers.
Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101. Your host, Maxwell Starr here. We're doing a reanalysis this time with a beer that we did all the way back in November 15th, 2017. So that's right, 6 years ago. 6 years and a week ago, we looked at Blanche de Chambly from Unibroue, the classic wit beer from Ontario. We'll get more into details about that. But first, we'll introduce who we have with us, starting with the Beardo. Hey, Redbeard. Wow, that's a stare. Jesus.
Might be going down.
You're looking at it. What's going on with the beard? What's new? How are you doing?
Nothing.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Thank you, Beard. Let's go over to Greg. Hi, Greg.
Hello. Let me attempt to give my constipated look.
This is where you're about to die on a loop.
There we go. That can be
shitting.
That can be the thumbnail for tonight. That's more like dying due to asshole rippage. That could be tonight's thumbnail, and also you can put it on my tombstone.
This is tonight's Jamie quote, anyway.
So anyway, Nick, I'm happy to be here. Very excited to be doing another Unibroue product by our the makers of what is it? La Fin du Monde.
Fin du Monde. La Fin du Monde.
The Fin, yeah. And just a reminder, since Dan is unable to be with us tonight, probably because he's buried in snow, literally anyone can achieve better than Dan greatness. Why do I have two pillows there? I don't know, but they're there.
Yeah, well, they're filling the place of Dan tonight, so that's
Hi, Dan. Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan. Actually, you think that two pillows would be ladyley, but okay, let's move on from that.
Oh my goodness! Oh. We've already become misogynist, and it's this early in this episode. This is gonna be a great episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very good episode. Okay, let's get started on the beer here before I get to the comments. Hi, Lee. All right, so Blanche de Chambly from Unibroue. I don't really need to get into much detail, but I'll talk about the last time we had it on the show, which was November 15th, 2017. For those people who don't know, the Blanche de Chambly is one of the earliest beers brewed by the Unibroue, or their forerunning company, which was Brasserie Witbier or something. Anyway, this beer dates back all the way to 1992, and the name literally means white of Chambly. Chambly, Quebec is where Unibroue is from. It is considered to be the first wit beer, Belgian-style wit beer, to be brewed in North America. Not just Canada, but North America. It predates Omegangs. So back when we did the original review of this, where's my graphic? You think I'd have this show better organized, but you know what to expect from me by now. At least you tolerate me, and I thank you for that. So, share my screen.
Well, I feel you're worth what we pay you.
Oh, yeah. So you get in the service for free. All right. So, November 15th, we had Joe, Greg, Chris Lysak, and, of course, me, Max, using my fake name.
What?
We actually really liked it back at the time, where it got an 8.8 for overall style, and overall enjoyment was 8.1. With me apparently giving it the lowest ratings.
Yeah, you enjoy talking style.
Oh, yeah. So, that said, yeah, we've got to. Yeah, right. So that said, yeah, we enjoyed it last time we had it. So, but it's been 6 years since we had it. So, has it held up? We will find out. Anyway, let's jump over to Redbeard, who was not here for the original episode, so I might as well just ask you, what's your history with the beer?
I just had one drink.
You had one drink of yeast.
Honestly, thought I've had it before. I've had like 20 beers by Unibroue. I somehow have not had this one before.
Really?
Until that first drink. Look, my history's getting more historic.
There you go. You're watching moments in bearded history.
Wow.
I'm like the Conor Bedard of Blanche de Chambly.
History is just coming alive.
Okay, so let's go to the veteran here, Greg, who has been on every episode of BA 101. Probably doesn't remember having this last time, but no.
I don't. And also my Untapped for whatever reason isn't loading, so I can't even tell you. But I have the feeling this is one of those beers that got tapped in on my infamous night of 500 beers. Because this is one of those where I definitely remember getting it sort of when I was dipping my toes into craft beer. And I remember there used to be, especially around Christmas time, there used to be the Unibroue exciting Christmas packages, and it was always a 6-pack. It was usually this guy, La Fin de Monde, Modet, whatever it's called. That usually would be their apple beer and two others. And I remember back then it was really, really exotic. Frankly, it's more exotic now because you can't get this shit for whatever reason in Ontario. Why the fuck can't we get Quebec beers? But anyways, so it was always exciting, especially when you're first getting to craft beers. Like, ooh, these are different beers. This is more exciting than a Creamore lager. So I used to. So I've probably had this beer for the first time sometime like 10 years ago, something like that. And I generally always used to like the Unibroue packs, and then they just stopped bringing them out. And this year they brought them out, they brought one out with 4 beers. I'd rather, instead of 4 beers in a glass, I'd rather just 6 beers. But
I miss having like that 12 pack. Anyway, sorry.
I don't recall ever having 12 packs. I'm not saying we didn't. I just, in my mind, I don't recall it ever being a thing. But I would love it if I could get more stuff from this brewery. This brewery's great.
What brewery is that?
Unibroue.
Unibroue. You know, like your eyebrows.
Yeah, it's like when your eyebrows attach. It's the Unibroue.
It's the best.
Makers of La Fin de Monde.
Carrie approves of that message.
Blanche de Chambly.
Mm-hmm.
Blanche de Chambly.
All right.
Blanche.
So here's a better question. Have you had it since you had it on BA 101?
Well, I can tell you 100% yes, because I drank the one in my first gift pack, and this is from my second gift pack that I've purchased.
But before that gift pack, it's not something you have really sought out again. It's just
you know what? It is I probably yes, but I can't say one way for sure or another. I was hoping to be able to tell you if my Untapped would load, but it's not loading for some reason. So
nice.
No, I'm gonna say a solid maybe.
All I know is my gut says maybe.
The Untapped actual website seems to be up and running.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll see if I can look it up. But in the meantime, yeah, it is. To be honest, it isn't a beer that I've seeked out on a regular basis. I don't recall if I ever bought it on its own. It's always been kind of like in a gift pack, and I'm not really sure why, because I actually like this beer. Spoiler alert, but
all right. Thank you, Greg. I'll put me up front and center and talk about my history on it. This is one of the first, my history on it is that this is one of the first craft beers that I really drank when I was having my first forays in the craft beer drinking. It was like an interesting release, like back when I first got into drinking. It was like this and Fin de Monde and Maudit. We used to be able to get in the big cork bombers. And so it was interesting to pick it up. I think Blanche de Chambly at the time also came in like the bottles, like you could buy it in a 6-pack of bottles. And I think Maudit came the same way. But that was like the only 3 Unibroues that we could get.
Pretty much everything used to come in a bottle.
Yeah.
All pretty much.
Anyway,
sorry. I know.
All right. So when I my first forays into it, like when I started my beer review channel, literally this beer is review 12, which was like a week and a half after I started the channel. So it's like one of the earliest beer reviews that I did. And have I really had it since? I mean, it like when like I was trying to say, I miss. It used to be that we would get a 12-pack of Unibroue beers.
Jesus.
Sorry.
You like distracting people, don't you?
I didn't mean that. My fucking phone went. I'm sorry. Fuck. Sorry.
Yeah, like for the longest time, Unibroue used to sell like alongside Sleeman products or something like that. It used to be over on the macro shelves. You could get a 12-pack of like assorted Unibroue beers, and even though they were being sold over there in the what's supposedly macro stuff, because of their Sleeman connections, it was actually an interesting pack. Because it's like I think there was like 6 different Unibrews in the pack to try, and that was actually a great pack because sometimes you get like Terrible or Trois Pistoles or even like the standard ones like Maudit, Blanche, Chambly, and Fin de Monde, La Fin du Monde, or however you pronounce it.
Fin de Monde.
Yeah, that one.
That's exactly it.
Anyway, yes. So that's something I used to get like at least once or twice a year, just because I enjoyed their beers. But since then, they've disappeared from many liquor shelves. All comes down to who's in government here in New Brunswick and who that government gives the cushy job of being the most profitable provincial division. So, yeah, anyway, I'm just saying that I'm really kind of like not happy with the current state of things and how they've kind of let that stuff slide. But I'm willing to bet that within the last 7 years, I've bought at least a couple of those tasters packs. Ian had this a couple of times since. I wouldn't say this is my favorite Unibroue, but it's definitely one I enjoy. Yeah. All right. So we have a ton of comments. Anybody want to read them?
Sure.
All right.
White beers reviewed by white people, just how Elon Musk would want it.
There we go.
I mean, he's not
Already
wrong.
asking us some kind of question, talking about the sack of pillows. Dan, sack of pillows hasn't been washed in a while. That's
Jesus.
thinking about the smell. That's gross. Beer was excellent before Sapporo got their dirty Oriental claws into it, is what a boomer racist would say. Not bad.
Oh, I know that.
Bad.
Terrio.
Can't remember if it sucks now, like say Hogarten does now. I don't know if I ever had Hogarten before it would have not sucked. I know I've had it, but cheers, Paul. Another question being asked. Marson saying some random stuff.
He's saying,
And
"What the
then-
fuck? We need more
Yeah,
pussy in the show."
Do we?
Well, and I was saying we need at least some. It
Do
would
we?
be
We're a
helpful.
bunch of pussies anyway.
We need to find a different lady.
We
that's
went
willing to hang
without
out
for
with us.
so long. Everything was fine. And
Yeah.
Lee is leaving
What's wrong with going
to
back to
compete
being
with
a-
us.
Off to review a beer. Goodbye. You do that.
Yeah, I bet you he'll have pussy on his show.
Yeah. Well. Anyway.
And what the hell? Like, are you blind?
Oh, there we go. We
Different
got a
kind of
pussy
pussy?
on the show.
That's right. That's
There
right.
we
There's
go.
one over here too that you can't even see.
Gandalf.
It's recent.
Mystery pussy.
Yeah.
Right on.
Right
Okay.
on, right on.
Right on. Right
Plus
on.
there-
Right on.
Plus, there's the serial killer display of Lady Lee's up there, so that's good.
Right by your unwashed pillows.
No, the pillows are washed. Well, the cases are washed. They can't
Cases
wash the
are washed. You
pillows.
can't wash the pillows.
Yeah,
You can't wash the
insides.
pillows.
Well, they're memory foam. You're not supposed to wash them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
In fact, that's why they're there.
What's
And
really
they're
to say about this beer?
naked.
Yeah, I can't remember when
Come on.
Hoegaarden was.
Come on in.
I can't remember when Hoegaarden was released. Was taken over. I know that they were like the original, kind of like the resurgence of the Witbier style. I think back in the 80s, like the Witbier had kind of faded out of existence in Germany, and then it had come back. Or no, not in Germany, but like in Belgium, but it had come back and was revived under the Hoegaarden name. I think it was like some guy literally started brewing the beer out of his bathtub, making it like from an old school recipe.
Ooh,
Anyway, yeah, it was. I figured there was some kind of crazy story like that, and it turned into a huge success. But it was bought out by AB InBev, like many years ago. I want to say they were probably bought by InBev like back in the 90s or maybe the 2000s. But it's just like one of those. Like, what's the story behind all of those big beers getting taken over? But one thing I do remember reading is that like Hoegaarden had like, of course, AB InBev, Budweiser, they're the ones famous for like taking the product and trying to streamline it by making the ingredients cheaper and streamlining the process. But at the end of the day, apparently, like a lot of the locals like were upset over the quality of the beer taking a nosedive suddenly, so they actually protested, and maybe InBev started making it back the way it was. So the official word I remember, I haven't had a Hoegaarden in a while, but I remember they're having it back when it was supposedly the same beer, but and like Hoegaarden has a reputation of being the same beer. But I wouldn't be surprised in the last several years if they've cheapened the recipe, because that's what AB InBev does. They suck.
Yeah, I haven't tried a Hoegaarden in forever, but I always remember it being like a even like back when I guess supposedly it was good. I always just thought it was fine. It was kind of like a light wheat beer that you could just drink on a nice sunny day. I never really thought it was super exciting, but
Chris is like way too many dudes.
Yeah, 3. Oh my god, it's so many, and some guys in the chat. Oh no!
Come join us so we can have four of us. You can get it. Yeah, we know you got a it's not a Hoegaarden.
Yeah,
we know you got a Blanche.
Chris was here for the original episode. He's not here tonight. But he's not drinking beer till Christmas or something.
Some weird bullshit.
Yeah. All right. So.
We're all having a 6-pack. Chris is having trying to get a different kind of 6-pack.
It's true.
Overrated.
As someone who will never have one,
perfectly fit and be able to do all kinds of backflips and all kinds of shit without having like that fucking super weird defined. The amount of effort it takes to maintain that shit.
It's a lot of work to have a 6-pack. You're a skinny guy, Carrie. Do you have a 6-pack?
No, and I don't care if I have a 6-pack.
No.
So
it's a lot of work to maintain one. I have a keg, and I'm happy with that. I'd like to shrink it a little, but
yeah, as long as you're healthy, good in decent shape, no need to be fucking bodybuilder Mr. Olympia shape. And the number of girls that like the so-called dad bod and stuff anyway is,
very few girls that I've met like guys that have abs because it tends to intimidate them.
There you go.
Because most women I know also don't want to have a 6-pack either, so they don't want to be intimidated and feeling.
Yeah, again, then you want to be in shape, but not like to the point where, again, just the maintenance. The diet you got to maintain.
Like anybody who's got a 6-pack like that is probably a fitness nut. So that's the reputation. Like the girls don't know if they want to keep up with somebody like that, would they?
Yeah. Well, listen, there's guys that are fitness nuts, then they find girls that are fitness nuts, and hey, more power to you. Find somebody you both have the same hobby, great,
And if that is the excuse, Chris, like you couldn't have a beer with us on this one show that's just going to throw everything off. Really?
That's the one thing we've learned about Chris is he's a robot. Once he's programmed to do something,
Chris Zuckerberg.
He won't go off his thing. By the way, I just wanted to tell everyone, since the show is brought to us by Elon Musk, has everyone seen the new Teslas? Aren't Teslas great? I think we should all get Teslas. Anyway, back to a regular show. Hi, Nick.
Yeah, right.
I take a
I don't want a Tesla. I'd rather have a Prius Prime. Anyway, so
I'd take one for free. If Elon wanted to send me one, I'd take one for free and happily to say how great it is and how there's no panel gaps.
So the story, like Hoegaarden, the brewery originated in 1445, but it closed down in like 1957. And it took this guy in the 1950s who literally started brewing up a batch of the beer from an old recipe in his milk shed using a copper boiler. So I think it was like Le Chouffe or something that was done in the bathtub. Anyway, so yeah, like it was the 1960s that this guy started doing the beer again. In the 1985, a fire killed it, destroyed it. November 2005, InBev had already bought it, and that's when they announced that they were going to close the brewery and move production because the brewery had changed the quality for the worst. The announcement led to fears that it would change eventually. It led to protests and the townspeople upset at the potential loss of the town's most famous symbol and largest employer. This move never happened. And in 2007, Bev said they would go ahead and send 60 million euros to upgrade the facilities in Hoegaarden. So, but I'm willing to bet that since we did the Hoegaarden episode, they probably reversed that. I don't know.
Well, it seems like we need
very
to do
pessimistic over.
Let's do a re-review, Nick, and that's something at least a bunch of people can probably get. So we can maybe get Mr. Lee on the show.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
And since it's a Sapporo product, he can do it all in an Asian accent.
Anyway, that's not tonight's beer. We're talking about the copy of Hoegaarden, the which pretty much all wit beers are a copy of, including to varying degrees of success, just like Belgian Moon or Blue Moon or Shock Top. But does anybody want to continue talking about this beer or give us your thoughts? Give us your thoughts on it.
It's not bad. It's a wheat beer.
All right, let's.
It is a wheat beer.
It is.
Put Beardo up front then, and tell you talk about your fit. What do you think of it now?
It's not nearly as mouthful of yeast as I was expecting. It's actually really nicely balanced. Like there's that little bit of banana, bubblegum, clovey kind of thing going on, but nothing really jumping out. It just, and the yeast, it's all just kind of on the same level, according to my palate. I feel like I'd like it a little maybe if the banana was a bit more amped up, but I'm kind of coming around to these Belgian things. It's interesting. Style-wise, I'm going to say 8. Enjoyment, I'm going to say 7. It's not bad.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Beard. Let's go over to Greg. Greg, what do you think of the beer?
Generally speaking, I agree with the beard. Very well balanced. It's got, like, I always think of, and this may be incorrect, I don't know, but I always, when I'm looking at the difference between a hef or a wheat, I always consider wits usually have the kind of lemoniness to them that I don't find hefs usually have. And that's basically what I'm finding with this one. But this one actually is a fairly good body beer. The thing is, I mean, I remember back when I first started drinking craft beer, and I used to drink wheat beers, and I just started drinking wheat beers. I always thought they were such heavy beers. Like even I'm talking like fucking Rickard's White, which we know is not a heavy beer, but in my early beer mind, I was always thinking, oh, this is such a big, heavy beer, and it's got so much body and flavor to it. And nowadays I drink wheat beers, and I normally find them to be kind of thin, kind of disappointing. Even a really good one, Side Launch Wheat, which used to be Denison's wheat beer, which was from a Toronto guy. Mike Hancock, I think, is the guy who made it. He used to be
that sounds familiar.
He used to have a brew pub back in Toronto on 99 Victoria Avenue that is like changed hands like 6 times in the last 10 years. I think Molson currently owns it. But that was his wheat beer, and it used to be really good. At least I remember it being. It actually was brewed by.
I thought that was a hef.
It was a half, yes. I'm kind of
You're pulling an ashes next to
pilot. Yeah, I'm definitely piling them together. But for the purposes of my point is that I'm trying to say, like, nowadays I have Side Launch Wheat, and I don't know if my taste has completely changed, or I don't know if the recipe's completely changed. Probably a little bit of both. That beer to me just doesn't taste good anymore. But this beer is like, when I go back and think, this is what a wheat beer tastes like. This kind of has, like, it's for what it is. It's fairly full bodied. It's got the nice lemoniness. It's got the banana. I do agree. You can always use more banana. Hell, just give me a banana beer. I'm happy. You got the kind of the Belgian bubble gum. You don't have a lot of yeast. Carrie's right about that. And to me, that's actually kind of good on a beer like this. Like, for something like that's a bigger Belgian beer, like 9-10%. Yeah, I want to be almost chewing that beer because I want that beer to be heavy. But this, happily drink it on a summer day, but at the same time, it's not overly dumbed down either.
It's got a bit of a refreshing thing going on.
Yeah, like you could definitely drink it by a pool, and I normally a wheat beer wouldn't be the first thing I think of as a pool beer, but this one could be, and it actually does have but it actually does have a nice flavor to it, more so than say a lager or something like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this for style, mainly because, to be fair, I don't go out of my way to try too many wheats anymore because, let's be honest, there aren't that many at the LCBO nowadays that aren't big brands. I'm going to give us a 9.5 for style because, frankly, I don't really see that much competition nowadays. And, maybe if I was in the States or something, I might be wrong, or someplace that sells more of them. Nowadays, too much shelf space is taken up by, hazy IPAs and stuff. So, no room for the little wits anymore. And personal enjoyment, I'm just going to go 8.5 on this. I'm very much enjoying it. And I would buy this more regularly. In fact, I'm going to try to seek out the apricot flavor since that's the only other one you can buy now. I'd be kind of curious if it's any good. But
we had it here, but I think I might even drink one, but I don't. Yeah, I can't get it anymore.
I mean, I have no clue if this will be any good, but I do find their fruit flavored beers are actually quite good. In fact, their pear. I forget what it's
Ephemer.
Yeah, Ephemer. They made a bunch of variants of that one.
Yeah, they did.
I want to say minimum 10 different variants.
I would drink the shit out of the Ephemer apple. I love that one.
The apple one's good. The pear one's really good. I've tried a few others. I can't really remember
which ones.
Pear was good. Yep.
But so I would imagine probably I do find French beers in general are pretty good when it comes to fruit. Oh my gosh, they make the pumpkin beer you can get in Ontario. I just can't remember. Actually, I couldn't get it this year. What the fuck? Anyway, there's a Quebec brewery
Big Rig or no, it's not.
No, it's the Quebec brewery. It's everyone knows.
Oh, Saint-Denis. Or
yeah. That's the one. I just couldn't fucking think of it. They make an apricot beer, and that's actually pretty good. I haven't seen it lately, but I had it 2 years ago. It was still pretty good. It held up.
That here, but yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, we haven't been able to get their pumpkin in the last 2 years. Why doesn't the LCBO bring in Quebec beers? Well, I mean,
it's the same thing here. We did get the Citrull here this year. But it's the same thing here. We don't get a lot of Quebec beers, and we really should because it's literally right over the fucking border. Yeah. I mean, we get more Nova Scotia beers, but it's so fucking protectionist nowadays. Where there's an entire goddamn or two goddamn shelves or three actually rows filled with fucking New Brunswick beer, and one row for Ontario and Nova Scotia.
Oh, every LCBO we have is a wall of Ontario beer. And that's fine. I like Ontario beer. Support Ontario. It's great. But let's bring in some U.S. beers. Oh, my God. Go across the border from New York State or to Michigan. The amount of beer you get is will blow your mind if you go to any decent bottle shop. And it's why can't some of this stuff make its way across the border? Come on, Doug Ford.
Well, I feel like here, the way it's gone here is that I go and I there's so much space dedicated to New Brunswick beer. Not all of it's good, or maybe not all of it's the same. It's they're trying to support every little brewery. I get that, but we're at a point where I feel like there's market oversaturation for that one demographic. I'm come on, I want to try stuff from outside of this fucking province.
If you ever want to see how crappy our beer industry is compared to the U.S., go to Michigan, probably New York State too, but I'm not as familiar with it because I don't go there. Go to Michigan and have a few of their IPAs. Just realize, and I'm somebody who famously, I don't really like hazies all that much, but I don't like Ontario hazies. Go to fucking Michigan and get some of their hazies. It doesn't have to be from Michigan, but just stuff that's available there. And you're holy shit, this is what a hazy should taste like, not the garbage we get in Ontario.
I feel like hate when it comes to hazies, New Brunswick is pretty well endowed.
we got lots in Ontario, but then Marcin will bring me a couple from the US, and I'm just oh, okay, well, this is so much better than what like anything I can get in Ontario. Other than Haze Mom, I will give Carrie. Haze Mom was pretty good, but
Well, you haven't really been anything Bellwoods in quite some time. They make some really, really, really good hazy fucking IPAs.
Not when I was trying them. I haven't tried anything
Well,
lately, so maybe they'll blow my mind. But
like, well, and the ones you had, generally, like the Roman Candle and stuff like that, and Jitsu and stuff, you were saying used to be not hazy at all, and they've changed them. So like that obviously would affect your opinion.
Jutsu, I don't remember. Roman Candle used to be an amazing West Coast IPA, and then they just stealth changed into a hazy. It's like, why the fuck don't you just make a different beer? Call it Roman Hazy.
I remember Roman Candle was really good.
Flying Monkeys did the stealth change with Live Transmission. It was just a milkshake IPA that was just nice and juicy and had a nice thick body. And then they changed it into some like weird green tea, friggin' whatever you want to call it. What am I thinking?
I think the whole thing was like when the hazy
everything
went hazy.
I did not Tai Chi. Chai tea is what I was trying to go with. Chai apparently just means tea. You're not supposed to say chai tea. You're supposed to. Anyway. But yeah, they changed it into that, and it's like it's gross now. I remember the first time I bought a can, being like, "Oh, buy one of these. It's going to taste the way it used to." And no, they just completely changed it.
Yeah, and I don't get why. Like, why when you do that? Why don't you give it a different name? Even if you, for some reason, want that fucking name for it, say it's whatever the hell is the beer called, the Chai Edition.
Yeah,
boom, done. Roman Candle, the Hazy Edition. Like, why are you stealthing?
Oh yeah, like New England RoboHop, right? New England
Great Lakes doing that with Canuck and Octopus and RoboHop.
Just say it's the hazy one. If people want it, they can buy the hazy one. If people want the original, assuming you have it still available, they can buy the original. They can buy the original. But it also for the purposes of Untapped, is kind of stupid because you go back far enough. It's like, oh, Roman Candle, this awesome West Coast IPA, and then like your one, oh, it's a hazy IPA. It's like, oh, what happened here?
Yeah. I remember when it was a good West Coast. That was the first time I had it. Was like
that was one of my favorites. I mean, granted, I haven't had their West Coast one at this point, probably like 7 or 8 years ago.
I think Roman Candle was like the first Bellwoods I ever had.
It was one of the original beers they came out with, and that and Wizard Wolf and a few others. Hellwoods, I think Hellwoods has changed a bit over the years too.
Witch Shark, I remember.
Witch Shark, another one. Yeah, all those. Witch Shark, last I had was still pretty good, but it's been several years since I've had it, so who knows what they've done with it now. So, and I have no interest in really trying Bellwoods. If I get a chance to, I might, but I'm not going to go out of my way to. So fuck Bellwoods.
Right. Anyway, so thanks, Greg. My turn. Can I do this without getting interrupted? Wow, that was fast. All right. So like when I think of this, like I usually think of whip-beers like with Hoegaarden as the archetype of the style. Usually they're seasoned with an orange peel or a curacao orange or something, with a little bit of sweeter orange. This one here is definitely more lemony. Like Greg nailed it on the head. And I was thinking the same thing. It's definitely a more like lemon kind of forward. There's definitely a lemon party going in here.
We love lemon parties.
Not that kind of lemon party, but I find the body on this. It's a very tasty beer. The body on this is nice and light and effervescent. You get that little bit of hint of like spices and coriander going on, a little hint of clove, and it's just a nice light, refreshing. Like a hint of bubblegum, hint of not like a big hint of banana or anything, just a little bit of that bubblegum kind of taste to it, which I know is, well, I guess technically a fault, isn't it? Or we have this argument with somebody before, and apparently it's not. No, I actually really like this. It's very enjoyable, and as you can tell, like last little bit, I've kind of been saving for the end of the video so I can give my thoughts on it, but no, this is kind of one of the reasons why I would say I really wish, like right now, the cans of Blanche de Chambly and the big bomber bottles of Fin de Monde are all I can get from Unibroue, and I don't even think that there's much of this left on the shelf. I think there's not a lot of this left, and I feel like there's not really. Is a Unibroue on its way out of New Brunswick completely? And that would be a sad day if that were the case, because these are one of the first breweries I really, kind of fell in love with when it came to beer. So For the style, I love it. I actually like this beer better than Hoegaarden. I would say I give it a 9 for the style. Overall enjoyment, 7.5. I mean, there's beers I like that I like better. It's not my favorite Unibroue, but it's solid beer. Anyway, let me do the math, and I'll put the carry on the screen. Read some comments.
Quite a few comments.
Yeah, there is quite a few comments. Well, she's where do you have to scroll up to?
Over here.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm trying to mess with my audio settings and stuff, and it's being weird. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Really read some comments, something? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. That's why you're on screen.
God damn it, there's too many of them.
I mean, you don't have to read them. I can always put Greg on.
Do it.
I'll read.
Do it, Greg.
Oh. Okay, we left off with Marson saying we need more pussy on the show, to which I reply, at least some pussy. Mr. Russell then says, okay, off to review a beer. Goodbye. Mr. Hazovsky says, by the way, where is everyone? Only 3 dudes. Well, the reality is our we'll put it more politely, our vagina on the show, Miss Lady Lee, is she's busy with schoolwork. I think she has class till like 8:30 or something on Wednesdays. And other people just either can't get the beer or don't want to get the beer. So you're stuck with the 3 of us. There we go. Off the 10th beer reviews, Mr. Chris says, way too many dudes in here. So echoing, he's like, well, you should join us and then it could be a foursome. You'd be great at a lemon party. Because he's old. He says, then I forget what we were talking about, but he says, correct Nick, correct Greg, and correct Dan. And then Dan says Chris is onto something with these vodka sodas.
Corrected them.
So that's probably why Dan is correct.
This is the Shining kind of corrected.
You have to correct them, sir. I corrected them.
I corrected them.
Yeah. It's nothing like murdering people with an axe to correct them. They learn their lesson that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about the axe murdering. LOL. Dan says, LOL, I have to say, I do like the old tequila co-drinks. Thanks for the suggestion, Chris. For what it's worth, every time I've tried a tequila seltzer, which is not very many, I haven't liked them very much. I do prefer vodka seltzers, but I don't know. To me, I just kind of would rather not drink than drink those. They do make good pool things, but it's not pool season anymore. So it's like, I'd rather just drink water personally. Which is water's good for you. Then Chris says, I'll be drinking beers again starting December in the weekends. Mr. Justin Tinker says, I bought my Tesla before Elon went crazy. # sad face.
It was always crazy. You just didn't know
sad face. We're getting to that, Nick. We're getting to that. Mr. Chris says, no problem, Dan, whatever they're talking about. Western Canadian Dan says, I'll be drinking beers every day in December for 25 days because I think somebody sent them an advent calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, Dan. I do. I got an advent calendar from GLB. It's not exciting, but it's beers to drink in September.
Is what it is.
December, not September. Justin is the better Elon. Oh, some guy named Greg said that. Redbeard says before he made it obvious, as in he was always crazy, which is actually true. I mean, people don't usually. I always have a theory that white people, when they have too much money, just go crazy. Then again, so do black people. Look at
whoa.
Black people. I can't say black people on your show, Nick. Who's that crazy guy who was married to Kim Kardashian? I can't remember his name.
He's not married to anybody, but Kanye's just crazy. That doesn't mean all black people are crazy.
I didn't say all black people are crazy, Nick. Relax.
You're steering that direction.
I said some black people are crazy.
Take that down. All right, so
there's also Asian people who are crazy, Nick. So relax.
Jesus Christ, Greg.
Anybody can be crazy.
Yeah, anyone can be crazy.
All those
Nick,
Polish people can be crazy.
Yeah, 100%. Have you ever met Polish people? We're all fucking crazy. not as crazy as Kenya, though.
Except for maybe
Joe. Where are we at? Fair. We knew he was crazy. We didn't know he was alt-right crazy. Where's the orange slices in our wheat beers? Jimmy Jazz says, Beard, will you be purchasing the Sawdust Advent Calendar? To which Mr. Beard says he is unsure. They stopped giving, I guess, the free shipping for $100. Really, there should be a threshold. I agree with Carrie on that. There should be a threshold. You know, if you spend $100, Give me some fucking free shipping. Come on.
Bellwood still does it. That's why I buy a lot of their stuff. Like
And Bellwoods, that's like 6 beers you buy, and that's like $100. So boom, free
it's
shipping.
not hard. It's not hard.
Probably the state of the market. Like markup's getting so bad.
They got rid of it somewhere in the COVID times, which
The
you think during those times they'd be shipping even more beer and being able to afford. I don't know.
Well, like, and a lot of breweries, I don't know about Sawdust City, but like GLB, for instance, their threshold is $50 because they just have employees that deliver the beer to you. So that employee's getting paid his or her hourly wage, whatever they happen to be doing. So, whatever. I guess it's the cost of gas otherwise, but I mean that employee's they're at work anyway. They may as well have them delivering beers. Where are we at? Mr. Chris can't wait for Double Tempest. To which Jimmy Jazz says, "When's the Double Tempest released this year?" Well, it was actually released on Saturday, and I have a case in my cellar. I drank one last night. They're quite tasty. They're in cans this year, which is nice. Blah blah blah. I just said that. And Mr. Russell says, "Is this still on?" To which,
because we last more than 10 minutes, like you do.
Wow, that was weird. To which Radar just says randomly, "Yup." Hey, thanks for showing up, Radar. And then Marshall says Trump 2024. So there we go. Trump. This channel supports Trump in 2024.
No, it doesn't. I didn't even put that comment on screen.
Oh,
Nick, that long? I don't know. I'm like, who's going to die first, Biden or Trump?
They're both probably not long for this world. Will he live that long? Let's hope not. And then you last more than 10 minutes. Like
the only bright side that I could say about Trump is that he's living proof that you could eat all the fast food you want and live to your 80s. So fuck you, Greg.
There you go, Nick. Live the dream. Nick, you know what? Nick Lowe, President of the United States, 2036. I'm calling this right now.
At least I'm not authoritarian. Well, maybe I'm this cat.
Not yet. You are.
And on this chat, I am. I guess.
You are. You're gonna have your running mate Kanye West.
Someone came twice. I'm sure. Yeah, it was Greg. Nick Lowe, President of Canada. Nah.
Nick would be a good president of Canada.
Yeah, as long as I have somebody else as a finance minister. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to spending.
Yeah.
We'll give it to Greg.
Yeah, I'll be your finance minister, Nick. Stop spending money on stupid shit. Done. Let's go on vacation now and spend a lot of money.
Let's go on vacation to the Caribbean or something like that.
Yeah, let's get like those $5,000 a night.
Like those people that think Fidel Castro was Trudeau's real dad and shit. All right, so
is his name Fidel?
Let me on screen. I'm gonna talk about. There we go. So that's the ratings from tonight in comparison to 6 years ago. Was this literally the same score for style? And overall enjoyment went down a couple of pegs. So, yeah, that's weird. Maybe I should have given it a little higher so I didn't pull down the ratings so much. But I just don't feel like it's any more in the 7.5. I don't know. I do enjoy it.
You gotta give your honest review. If you like it, if it's a 7.5, it's a 7.5. Simple as that.
Oh, that's still a pretty good rating for a beer. And besides, that's like you're talking about an episode we did right at the very beginning. And how do we feel about beer? We've done a whole lot of beer since then. So do we feel the same about the beer? I feel like that's still pretty good. Like that's probably enough to say the beers probably hasn't changed or it's held up.
I think we can all agree that we love the whites on this show.
Yeah, right. I would say that Unibroue, if you're listening, make sure. Well, I mean, Unibroue, Enemy Liquor, if you're listening, and you're probably not, and you never will, but because why would you listen to some hack on YouTube? But I want more of this Unibroue because I miss getting that pack. Bastards, you took it away from me. Alrighty, so I have Finance Minister Radar. I prefer to stay him. Have some money left. All right. What's next week's beer? Next week's beer is going to be a November edition of a show and swill. So it's just bring whatever beer you want to the show. It's open for anything. Just bring something interesting.
So maybe we'll have more than 4 dudes next week. We'll have 4
Well,
dudes.
it would be even more of a sausage party.
Sorry, 3 dudes, 4 dudes, 5 dudes
Have
maybe.
Paul on, maybe Lee.
Mr. Russell will show up
anyway.
Well, he can show up for the first 10 minutes and then leave.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So, yeah, I think that's an episode. Good reanalysis. Thanks for tuning in, Lee, Jimmy Jazz, Radar, Justin, Marcin, and missing somebody, Dan, Paul. Paul's in the chat way back there. Chris saying that Dan's better than everybody, which he's not. So if I missed somebody, I'm sorry. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We have 5 viewers right now, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
I have Layla. There's a girl.
We even have a dog here. There's actually a female right there.
There we go.
Bit of a bitch, though. No, I'm kidding. Well,
she is a bitch. That's technically the correct term.
Yeah, but I don't mean that in the mean way. It's actually kind of cute.
She's a female dog. She's a bitch. That is what they are. That's literally their names.
All right. On that note,
don't blame the man that named them that.
Jesus. All right. On that note, we're taking off.
That's a nice white penis.
There you go.